That was one of the funniest movies I've seen in a long time.
Get to know me.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. Today, I'm going to be reviewing the newest movie from A24, Friendship. But before we get started, make sure to hit that like button as it is free to do so and it helps me out a lot. But I'm going to be 100% honest when I say this right here. I don't think any other movie coming out this year will be as funny as this one. I think most people who've seen this movie will agree with that statement, as the comedy movies this year have been pretty lackluster. I don't really think I've given a comedy movie this year like an 8 out of 10 or above. And also because my theater, which was pretty full for an A24 movie, was dying of laughter almost after every joke. I had really no expectations or any idea of what I was walking into when seeing this movie, but I knew I had Tim Robinson and Paul Rudd in it, and all I had seen from Tim Robinson was that very viral skit from I Think You Should Leave, when he orders like 55 burgers, 55 fries, 55 tacos, and so on. I'll play a clip of it right now if you haven't seen it before.
Hi, can I take your order?
55 burgers, 55 fries, 55 tacos, 55 pies, 55 Coke, 100 tater tots.
I could literally watch that skit every day and still find it hilarious just because of how unhinged Tim Robinson is in it. And him in Friendship is no different, as he really is just acting circles around Paul Rudd and everyone else in this whole movie. Really, the whole plot around this movie just revolves around Craig, who's played by Tim Robinson, who is a suburban dad who falls hard for his new charismatic neighbor, Austin, who's played by Paul Rudd. And what's hilarious is that you think it will be this simple story about, two neighbors meeting, they become friends, but no, you would never guess half of the things that happen in this film. It's weird, it's unhinged, it's scary in a couple scenes, and it kind of just felt like Tim Robinson's favorite movie of 2022 was The Banshees of Inisherin, which was one of my favorite movies that year. And I think he wanted to go out and make his own version in present day, as after a specific hangout, Austin doesn't want to be friends or hang out with Craig anymore. And I'm not going to ruin why, because it's honestly too weird to explain. I also want to give props to director and writer Andrew DeYoung, as to my knowledge, this is his first feature film that he's directed, as before this, he mostly did TV specials and episodes of different comedy series, and that kind of shows here, as Friendship felt like a true comedy that we haven't seen since like the 2010s and all that. It kind of felt like, Anchorman, Step Brothers, and it also worked as like a long episode of TV, which sometimes I would say is a bad thing for movies to feel like a long episode of television. But for this, I think it worked, as it just felt like a long drug-induced trip. I would honestly love to see what Andrew does next in his film career, and hopefully he does another comedy, and hopefully he works with Tim Robinson again, because he wrote great material for him. I'll say it again, this is my type of comedy. I really ate all this up. It's more of an awkward comedy, kind of like when characters say the most random joke possible, and the other characters in the movie are like, what did this guy just say? Did he really say that? And I would say 95% of the jokes landed for me here, and some of them had me laughing so hard, and it's mostly because of how the lines were delivered. As I said before, Tim Robinson really stole this entire movie for me. Everything that he says just really made me laugh so hard, and I gotta go watch some other stuff that he's done. But there's this one joke that he says early on in the movie where he's talking to his wife and son. He's like, there's a new Marvel out, we should go see it. It's supposedly insane. Then there's this constant running gag in the movie where every other character is talking about this movie, and he's like trying to avoid spoilers for it. He's like, I'm gonna kill you if you spoil this movie for me. And he's like, what's going on? And I just could not stop laughing. I thought it was hilarious, especially with what A24 and Marvel have been doing this year. Thunderbolts had that one A24 ad, now A24 is talking about Marvel. I thought it was just a hilarious gag that just kept going. I haven't talked about him yet in this review, but I will say Paul Rudd also had some really great moments here, especially the ones where he's with Tim Robinson. But I will say it made me happy to see him in a comedy like this, because it reminded me of the old comedies that Paul Rudd was doing back in the 2010s. Some other supporting cast members that are in this are Kate Mara and Jack Dylan Grazer, who are two people that I haven't seen in a movie in quite some time, but they also had some really good scenes here. I do want to spend a short second talking about the pacing, because it's something that a lot of people won't like, as the movie kind of feels like it goes on for forever and ever. As I said before, it feels like a drug-induced trip, but I really did like the pacing. It feels like it ends in one point, and then boom, another crazy thing happens, then boom, another crazy thing happens, and then Tim Robinson's in the subway, and I'm not going to go any further on that, but the pacing might irk some people a little bit, but I really liked it. Overall, Friendship is the funniest movie of the year, and I don't see any other comedy beating it for me. Andrew DeYoung did a great job with his first feature film, and I will say A24 is doing a nice job rolling this one out compared to the other smaller films that they released this year. Tim Robinson completely stole the show here and delivers some of the funniest lines in some of the craziest ways possible. It's a movie that makes absolutely no sense whatsoever, and when you watch it, you'll probably see why, but I had such a great time. If it comes to your theater, you have to watch it because it's very unhinged in some of the best ways possible. I'm going to give Friendship a strong 8 out of 10. Hope you guys did enjoy my review. If you did, make sure you do smash that like button as it is free to do so. And also, if you did see Friendship, leave your own thoughts down below in the comments. I'd love to discuss it with you. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.